This is so hard to put on. Cleaned it. No. I think this one. Ooh. Okay. So we have some bright sunshine, so it's a good place to start this recording. Hopefully nothing's in the way. So let's start. Kind of a nice different place for my lunch. So I'm starting to enjoy these rides. It's like a picnic. So every time I go for lunch, it's a picnic, which is kind of nice. So it's kind of hard to know how to go anymore because so many trails are being worked on. So I'm literally having to invent new rides all the time, which is fun. But also, a little unsettling. Because half the time I don't know where things come out. So in my last very bad video, it was all over the map. And again, I'm not even sure if I published that or not. I'm not sure if I'll publish this one. Maybe I'm done with YouTube. I'm not sure. But anyway, I made the big decision that with all its flaws, with all the questions I have, I still believe in God. I believe in a higher power. And it's not because I'm afraid of hell. I mean, I don't believe the Bible even teaches a literal hell as it's been presented. I don't believe that. And I'm not doing it to get anything. Because right now, it's April. So God literally doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not happier with him. I'm not sadder without him. He doesn't seem to add anything. But at the same time, he adds everything. I mean, he says he keeps the world spinning. So interesting. So I'm not doing it to get anything. I don't believe because I'm afraid of anything. You look at the arguments for atheists. And again, like I said in the last video, kind of very badly, that, most of their argument is that religion is bad. Most of their argument is that they don't like God or don't like what he's doing. And the other half of their arguments are their worldview doesn't accept God. God doesn't fit with the scientific method. He's not bound by the rules of science. We made that up. And I think it's good. But not everything in the universe is deducible by science. So, if your worldview precludes the supernatural and God, you'll never find him. So your arguments suddenly don't mean very much. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, if you start from your premise that there is no God, well, that leads you in a totally different direction. But if you start as your preface, maybe there's a God. Well, then we can work with that. So this is the decision I made. I think I made it pretty strongly. Enough of this wavering. There's doubt. Like, I doubt very much he even hears us. But the weight of the evidence is clearly towards some kind of higher power or creator. And when I listen to people like Richard Dawkins and his arrogance, his arguments are very weak, and he says it with such full force and arrogance. Now he says, where do we get the Bible? And so I listened to that, and some guy was saying, it all's made up. That we all got the Bible from the Catholic Church. Is that true? Maybe. But no, that's not what history tells us. There wasn't even a Catholic Church yet. So you listen to these arguments, you got to listen carefully. Because most of it is simply not true. And you got to be careful with creationist arguments. Some of those are not true either. So you got to be careful. You're in good company with people who believe in God. You're in good company with people who don't believe in God. Like, I listen very closely to Neil deGrasse Tyson. Turns out I really like him. He's honest. But he says things like, there's no evidence for God. And I find when I hear that, that's both correct and it's incorrect. We haven't found direct evidence of God. But you listen to people like Stephen Meyer, and they say it's inference to the best explanation. It's not definite, but the best explanation is a higher power, a creator that's beyond time, space, and matter. That's just the best explanation. The atheistic explanation doesn't fit with the facts. It's just the way it is. So, in this light, I have a whole pile of questions that either I've answered, but I don't write them down. I don't have a ready reference. So when I'm attacked with this or that doubt, I've got no recourse. I just fall into a funk. I get mad at God, mad at me for following this thing. I've wasted my life. But I've already answered it. As soon as I get the answer, I find myself saying, oh yeah, right, I answered this. It's not a perfect answer, never will be, but there is an answer. So, wow, I'm going directly against the wind. This is very hard going, but good. Fresh air, really weird weather. Like, I want to put on my shirt, take it off. No matter what I do, it's the wrong mode. I think I will lower the arms a little bit though. That's getting a little cold. And I can always lift it up again later. Yeah, that's better. So anyway, there's a pile of questions that I have. So I'm not sure if I should, continue this biking channel answering those questions. Just answer the questions and write them down somewhere. Don't care about YouTube. Just do the biking just for the biking. I love to bike. It clears my mind. It clears my joints. It clears the clutter. Clears my emotions. I feel good. Looking forward to biking as the weather gets better and better, and even hot. In the really hot weather, I just plan to go at 5:30 in the morning. That's fine. Something wonderful about going that early. It's fantastic. So, what do I do with all these questions? Some seemed unanswerable. Some, everybody on both sides of the issue is going to claim it. See, this proves God's not real. This proves God's not good. Everyone's going to claim that. Or, you have people who, like I remember that story. This lady was in a nursing home, her body just completely falling apart. And she said, I'm always amazed at how good God is. You're stuck with a barely working body. But you say, isn't that deluded? Maybe yes, maybe no, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. I can see what she's saying, that even in her terrible circumstance, there's hope. If she didn't believe in God, life is kind of over. That's the end. I really like this bridge. A lot of neat little bridges like that. They're only made for people and bikes. Just fantastic. Great job. Wasn't talking about you. So again, the future of YouTube for me is really in question. I mean, I've appreciated everybody who's watched. Hasn't been many, but that's great. I know sometimes it takes a while for the YouTube algorithm to figure out what I'm doing. Sometimes it takes me a while to figure out what I'm doing. So if I go to YouTube, I can't be so worried about views. I've had a really interesting experience with YouTube lately, just as a user. I find myself almost yelling at the TV. Oh, come on, that's just totally manipulative. Totally manipulative. And so that upset me. this title, and you read it, and then I took the time to actually watch the video, and it has nothing to do with what you said. Like I remember one Christian apologetics guy, Cliff Knettle or something like that, and it said this is his most explosive, confrontation ever, or whatever it was worded like that. And you listen to it, and there was no explosion. There was no confrontation. He just explained things very calmly. No one was upset. The people asking the questions weren't upset. Cliff wasn't upset. I mean, it's a total lie, your video. It's just there to get views. So I don't want to do that. Lie to get views. Manipulate to get views. And I've noticed a lot of, big-time YouTubers. They say the same thing over and over and over again. Especially ones, presenting themselves as experts on YouTube. I look at their videos from 5 years ago. It's exactly the same. Exactly. How to get more views on YouTube in 2023. How to get more views on YouTube in 2024. It's just ridiculous. And even the initial YouTube wasn't that helpful. It really wasn't that helpful. So it's like this is just manipulating people. You're getting a new viewer in 2025. You're rehashing the same, 7 points that are incredibly obvious. Write a good thumbnail, have a good, blah, 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 blah. So I found on YouTube that a lot of success is just because people know you. Like I think of some of the people that I, subscribe to and enjoy watching. I don't care about their thumbnail. I kind of looked at some of their thumbnails and I thought, that thumbnail's pretty bad. That's out of focus. Not a very pretty picture. The title was kind of innocuous, but I like the people. So I click in just for the people. So I'm finding YouTube to be not a scam, but not completely honest either. So I don't know what to do with that. So I don't know what to do with YouTube. I'm kind of sick of it. I'm kind of sick of begging people for views. I mean, not that I've done that on this channel. I haven't at all. But that seems to be the way to grow. You manipulate someone. Find some clever title. Anything to get them to click and keep watching. It seems completely dishonest to me. I don't know what to do with that. So the question I have, can I do YouTube in a totally honest way? I give titles that literally say what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to get views. I'm not trying to manipulate people. I'm not trying to do content people want to watch. All that seems to be manipulating people. I don't like that. So, can I be successful? Can I be successful at YouTube without manipulating? And I'm not sure. So I guess I have to go into YouTube, trying to help my audience answer questions that I'm curious about and they might be curious. I mean, I absolutely want to be useful to people. It was a little scary. That really quick, steep downhill. So anyway, YouTube. It's a great platform. It's very useful. I use it all the time. And sometimes I feel like it's manipulative. A lot of time I feel like it's manipulative. And I've been looking into different ways of filming. And it's funny that people who do a story method, where they put the camera down, they ride past, they go back and pick up the camera, they use drone shots and all these clever things. Those things are awesome. But that takes a lot of work. Work is good. I totally into the work. It's a really interesting shot. I'd put the camera down on the side of the road here, like over there somewhere. I'd ride past and come back and get it. Nothing wrong with that shot. That tells an interesting story. And the drones are really cool. They're cool everywhere. Like right now, it'd be really cool to see where I'm at. It's kind of windy though for a drone. I don't think I'd use it today. It's too windy. So those are really cool. And I can just use my phone. My phone's here anyway. And so I could stop, fly the drone from my phone. Don't even take it off the bike. Fantastic. I like that. But then the ride is no longer about cadence and getting in shape. The ride's now about filming. And so my ride would suffer. To get in shape, I'm finding that I need cadence. I need to keep up my speed. I need to, go for it. Not like, going like an Olympiad and just going crazy, but enjoying the ride, once in a while stopping and taking a picture. Those are awesome. But you need to keep up, the muscles get warm and starting to be used. So I don't know. So I like this style like this. This seems to be my style. It's immersive. I've lost the camera mount. It just broke. And so I have no camera mount. So that's been a pain. Because it's nice to sometimes, not have to wear this neck mount, which is fine. It's totally comfortable. It's okay. But, I have to get it out, set it up. Maybe that's fine though. When I'm done, put it away. That's fine. But it's nice to have the camera always there. I see a nice shot, I reach over and I start the camera. That's awesome. So a lot of questions I have now. Should I keep with YouTube? How should I do YouTube? I think, just talking about it, I think I've kind of made the decision that I don't really like the movie, thing. Because it breaks up my ride. The ride is secondary to filming. And for me, no. The ride is what's important. You know? Yeah, so I've kind of just made up my mind. I want it to be about the ride, not about the filming. The filming is awesome. I like this. But I like, people to just join me on my ride. And we talk about things. And maybe if I did do it as YouTube, I could flash some things on the screen once in a while. I'm not sure. Again, I'm very unsure about YouTube. I don't like begging people for views. I don't like manipulating people for views. I don't like to do that. But it also makes it very hard to title anything. Because, you have an hour-long video. You talk about all kinds of different things. How do you title that with one sentence? And one thing I can do is, I do, some research and things on a subject, and while I'm on the bike ride, we can present it. So it's a little bit of what we're learning. It's also a little bit about Korea, what I'm going through in Korea. Oh, I think I need another very short break. Oh, look at the jets. Ooh. So I'm just getting back into biking after not doing it for 4 months. So I need a lot of breaks. So I think that's normal and okay. My behind needs to get a little bit toughened to biking. It's been difficult. And it's really weird weather. Like it's hot and it's cold at the same time. So wearing, this shirt seems to solve most of the problems. Still have my jacket if it gets really cold. I still have a rain jacket if it rains. Everything's good. But all I know is when I bike ride, I feel better. That's all I know. It's also this particular hill, really difficult. low-flying plane. Kind of out of shape. Well, that's how you get back in shape. You just do it. Ooh. So YouTube. It's a love-hate relationship. So I'm hitting some new goals for me. Some new things I'd like to do. I want to see if I can do YouTube without, checking YouTube Buddy, without manipulating people, without pushing them to listen. Because I found the people that I watch don't need to do that anymore. Once you've found your audience, everything's fine. So, can I do that? The only way to do that is to not care about views. Just don't care. Put out something that's interesting to me, would be interesting to my audience, without manipulating anybody. That's the way to do it. So that seems to be my answer for, YouTube. As to my difficulties with God, there's answers. There's a reason people have been following this stuff for centuries. There are answers. Truck is too big for this road. Oh well. But again, I need to have these answers in an accessible form. YouTube form. So there's my titles for YouTube. Oh, what a beautiful road. I hope I'm getting this. Hope it's recording. Beautiful road. So we're having to use different roads because of all the construction, which is fine. So again, there's my new titles for YouTube. This idea, you ask a question and then you go for a bike ride and talk about it. Or I could just record at home. Or don't use YouTube at all. Find a different way. But I kind of like doing a video about it. So I can go and do a search for my video. You know, I've solved this, and watch, enjoy a bike ride, or just enjoy the answer I came up with. So I think I have found something. You just answer questions that I'm disturbed with YouTube, and with God, and with Korea, and things I love about God, love about YouTube, love about Korea. You know, and if I keep up with YouTube, you know, I'd like to review all the gear that I use. A lot of neat stuff that I've been very happy with. And some things have not worked at all. So anyway, I want my life to work. I want my God to be real. I want to love my God. And he seems to not answer these questions. Show me that you love me. Doesn't want to answer that. Show me that you're real. Doesn't want to answer that. Show me what do I need to do. Doesn't want to answer that. So that's okay. I have to find a way of moving on from that. It's really funny to me that I'm not more put off by God. That I prayed to him for 5 weeks. I prayed 3 specific prayers and he didn't answer any of them. Or maybe he did. Maybe the answer was, I don't do that. The answer's in the Bible. The answer's in nature. The answer's in people. You know? I've already answered those things. You're just not listening. So what else do you want me to do? I mean, very interesting to me. Oh, that's interesting. Can I go to that? One of the practical questions is, for me right now, there's no church to go to. Seems to be one choice. I don't particularly like this church. You know, some people in the past who've hurt me, I don't want to deal with them again. I don't like the sermon particularly. You know, I'm kind of about everything. And other people seem to feel the same way. There's other people who go to that church who, you know, they drop their kids off at Sunday school and they hang out at the coffee shop. I really like going every other day. I think this is the way to go. Go every other day. You know, instead of every day, go every other day. And if it's really bad weather, or maybe even just once a week, I could do it inside. Also, maybe if I do these recordings, I should do in the beginning first, not the end ride. And the reason why is because then I can put the camera away. This way, I've got to keep the camera on the whole time. Just different options. So that's one prayer I do have, is where do I go to church? You know, some other guys around here that I know that have churches, but they're so far away. One guy, you know, had my trouble with him in the past, and he's not a very good preacher. I'm kind of bored. I mean, I like to say that he has a fantastic 12-minute sermon that he drags out to an hour, which I think is pretty apt. Like, I find myself in the middle, just, okay, can you finish already? You made your point 12 minutes ago, and you're still talking about nothing. Like, you got to fill up the air. I don't know. The other idea I've always had for YouTube is just to do it like a virtual indoor ride. You know, just come and join me for a ride. So we get kind of a, you know, a ride together. You know, so you kind of get to see, you know, if you're stuck inside for any reason, or the winter, like I did. I used my own videos for the winter. All right, well, here we go. Whoa, here we go. This is where I come up. This is it. So this blue, you know, the two things, yeah. So past that little open area, this is where we come up. So this is where I would come up. Stop recording.